my curious and playful Gemini friend. Hello and welcome. My name is Mina, and I'm here to offer you a 3-card reading exploring the themes of you, your path, and your potential. I invite you to consider what the reading reveals about possible challenges, opportunities, and personal growth for the week ahead. Take a deep breath, rest your mind, and let's see what the cards have to share with you today. A Gemini, even as the world seems to spin faster than you can catch your breath, there's a hush beneath your outward curiosity. You might find this week the air is thick with words left unsaid. The conversations you replay in your mind don't quite match the ones you allow into the room. There's a subtle ache in your chest, a tension between wanting to be understood and not wanting to reveal too much. You sense that something important is stirring below your daily exchanges, a feeling that tugs at you when laughter fades and you're left with your thoughts. It's the unease of knowing there's more beneath the surface, but not feeling quite ready to show it. You're holding space for yourself quietly, as if testing whether it's safe to bring your true feelings into the light. You stand now in a place of emotional depth and quiet strength, even if it doesn't show on your face. The King of Cups moves through your week not as a title, but as a state of being. You carry a steady current within, a calm that holds back the tide of your own shifting moods and the unpredictable feelings of those around you. You're able to sense the emotional weather in any room, reading the undercurrents before a single word is spoken. There's a part of you that wants to keep everything balanced, to remain unshaken no matter what swirls around you. This isn't always easy. Sometimes your inner calm is just a thin layer over a deeper, more vulnerable pool. You might notice yourself mediating between friends or smoothing over awkward silences, even when you crave someone to do the same for you. There's compassion in the way you listen, but perhaps you hesitate to let your own needs be seen. Underneath, you might be holding onto feelings that have no place to go, emotions that you process privately, not wanting to burden anyone. Your heart is both shield and sanctuary. You want to remain approachable, but you're careful not to let anyone too close to the parts of yourself that feel raw or unsettled. There's wisdom here, a recognition that your steadiness is a resource, but also a gentle longing to be understood without always having to explain. You sense the risk in letting your guard down, even just a little. But you also notice the fatigue that comes from holding so much within. This week, your emotional posture is one of quiet mastery, but also of longing to be met in your depth, not just your surface. That steady heart, so practiced at listening and balancing, creates the shape of your days. When you hold so much inside, it's only natural that the world tests the edges of your calm. The way you contain your feelings gives rise to moments when you're called to respond, to choose, to draw lines. The path ahead is shaped by the press of conversations that don't resolve, by the subtle friction of mixed intentions. As you move through the week, you may find that your desire for peace brings you face to face with small conflicts or misunderstandings. The pressure isn't loud, but it's constant, like a quiet argument happening just below the surface of your interactions. You sense when someone's words don't match their tone, or when a situation demands more honesty than anyone is willing to give. The more you stay composed, the more it seems others lean on your steadiness, sometimes without realizing the cost to you. Your ability to remain the calm center draws people close, but it also means you absorb more than your share of tension. And so, the path ahead forms not through grand battles, but in the subtle choices you make, when to speak up, when to let something pass, when to risk being misunderstood for the sake of your own peace. Each of these moments is shaped by the emotional mastery you carry, but also by the quiet fatigue it brings. The world asks you to pick your battles, to weigh the cost of keeping the peace against the relief of honest expression. Into this gentle storm steps the Five of Swords, not as an enemy, but as a reminder of the push and pull that comes with caring deeply while wanting to avoid unnecessary conflict. The pressures you feel are real. There's a momentum here, small disagreements, unresolved tensions, or even the silent competition for attention or understanding. The friction isn't always visible, but you feel it in the pauses after a difficult conversation, in the way your thoughts circle back to what was left unsaid. Sometimes you notice the urge to withdraw, to protect your calm by sidestepping situations that threaten your equilibrium. Other times you feel the impulse to state your truth, even if it risks unsettling someone else's peace. The pressures are subtle but insistent. You might find yourself replaying conversations, wondering if you said too much or not enough. The energy around you is restless, as if everyone is negotiating their own invisible boundaries. It's easy to worry that honesty will lead to distance, or that letting things slide will pile up into resentment later. The path this week is not about dramatic confrontations, but about living with the low-grade friction of wanting to be understood and wanting to keep the peace. Each decision you make, whether to engage or step back, adds to the landscape of your relationships. The world feels slightly sharper, as if each interaction asks you to choose between comfort and clarity, between connection and honesty. This is a path of small but meaningful choices, each shaped by your desire to remain steady without disappearing into someone else's expectations. Yet nothing in this landscape is fixed. The potential that waits for you is not a reward but an opening, a possibility that reveals itself only when you meet the moment with full attention. The path of the Five of Swords does not have a predetermined outcome. Your experience this week depends on how much of yourself you are willing to bring into each encounter, how honest you are with yourself about what you need, and how gently you can hold space for the needs of others. The choices you make, especially in moments of pressure or discomfort, shape what becomes available to you. There is no promise that every conflict will resolve, nor that every feeling will be understood. But the invitation is clear. When you meet the week consciously, when you allow yourself to be present with both your own feelings and the feelings of those around you, something shifts. The possibility for growth is not in avoiding tension, but in allowing it to be seen and understood, both within yourself and in your connections. And so the Six of Cups emerges, not as a destination, but as a gentle invitation to remember what it feels like to be at ease, to reconnect with parts of yourself that have felt distant or guarded. There's a softening here, a chance to rediscover a sense of safety in sharing, even if just in small ways. The growth available to you is not about fixing every problem, but about allowing yourself the kindness of nostalgia, of simple joys, of letting the past inform the present without weighing it down. You might notice brief moments of warmth, a memory, a shared laugh, a quiet understanding, that remind you of times when connection felt natural, unforced. The invitation is to let these moments in, to let them soften the edges that have grown sharp with tension. Growth this week looks like choosing to remember that your vulnerability is not a weakness, but a bridge. You don't have to carry everything alone. When you allow yourself to be seen, even just a little, you make space for genuine connection, for the kind of ease that comes from being honest about where you are. The Six of Cups invites you to step into the present with a gentleness rooted in memory, and an openness to what could be without demanding certainty. When you look at the week as a whole, the story is one of quiet strength meeting subtle challenge, and the possibility for renewal when you allow yourself to soften. The steadiness of the King of Cups gives you the resilience to weather any emotional turbulence, but it also asks you not to numb yourself to your own needs. The Five of Swords reminds you that tension is a natural part of caring deeply and wanting to be understood. It shows how easily small pressures can build when you hold back more than you share, but the Six of Cups offers a gentle way through, a chance to reconnect, to remember what it feels like to be at ease with yourself and the people who matter to you. This week, you are invited to honor your emotional depth, to recognize the cost of always keeping the peace, and to seek out the small, honest moments that nourish you. There is no need to have all the answers or to resolve every tension. Instead, you can trust that your willingness to show up, even imperfectly, is enough. The emotional weather may be unsettled, but you are not alone in it. With each small act of honesty and kindness toward yourself and others, you move closer to the sense of belonging you quietly long for. You are enough just as you are, and the week ahead is simply another chapter in learning how to hold space for your own heart. Actionable insights for Gemini this week. Notice when you're holding back in conversation and try sharing one small feeling instead. Let yourself enjoy a simple pleasure that brings back a sense of ease, even if only for a few minutes. If you find yourself replaying a tense moment, offer yourself the same compassion you'd give a friend. Spoken word affirmations to repeat aloud for a more positive mindset. I am allowed to feel what I feel. My voice matters even in quiet moments. I can hold space for myself and others. This week I trust my heart to guide me. And now, dear friend, I thank you for giving me your time. I truly hope I have given you something helpful in return. Goodbye and good luck until next time.